A waitress had been crushing on the same regular customer for months, never knowing if he felt the same. By the time she got the answer, she had already learned something about herself that had nothing to do with him. Welcome back to Liminal Chapters. Today's story is inspired by a post from r/relationships. Names and identifying details have been changed. Most love stories are about him. This one is about her. I work as a waitress at a small cafe, and over the past few months, I've developed kind of a thing for one of my regulars. He comes in every single day to study. He's a grad student doing a PhD, the introverted type who likes his own company. Smart, has a quiet musician vibe to him. We've had short conversations about language and philosophy that I look forward to all day. I always make sure I'm the one serving him. The thing is, I cannot tell if he's even interested. He's hard to read. Sometimes he seems shy, sometimes confident. Sometimes he mumbles, sometimes he's clear and articulate. He keeps his head down in his books most of the time, so we don't get long conversations. My manager says he never stops to chat with anyone at the counter. Maybe that's because I'm the only one trying to get him to talk. Maybe he just couldn't care less. I genuinely cannot tell. I'm getting more and more shy around him, to the point of blushing when we talk for more than a few minutes. I'm drawn to the way he thinks, the things he says. I'd be happy with a friendship if that's all it was. I'd just gotten out of an 8-year relationship, which was also my first, so I had honestly no clue how to deal with any of this. I wasn't looking for anything serious, I just wanted to know him better. A small thing happened that I keep replaying. I'd been training as a barista, and one day I made his coffee myself. When I asked him how it was, because I'd made it, he said it was actually even better than usual, clearly trying to compliment me. I couldn't tell if he meant the coffee or me. I read into it for days. The cafe became the highlight of my day. I'd get to work wondering if today was going to be a good day where we chatted, or a bad day where we didn't. The butterflies were genuinely nice, but I was getting tired of obsessing over a person without ever finding out the answer. I wanted to know or move on. What was holding me back was the worry that I'd ruined something he clearly liked. He was doing his PhD. This cafe was his routine. It almost felt selfish to mess with someone's well-crafted routine for my own benefit. I posted the whole situation online asking for advice. Someone in the comments suggested a note. Just write my number on his receipt. Casual, low stakes, easy out for both of us. I thought about it on the walk home that night and decided, yeah, the next shift was going to be the one. Even if I had to sit at his table to do it, even if it meant doing something crazy. Ain't nobody got time for silly crushes. The plan was simple. I'd print out his receipt with my number on it, slip it to him as he was leaving, and let it ride. If he called, he called. If he didn't, I had my answer. Update 1. Friday night, I came in for my shift fully committed. With my manager's blessing, I printed out his receipt and wrote my number on it. Then I waited for him to arrive. Now, here's the thing about this cafe. People pay at the counter before they leave. We don't usually give them receipts unless someone asks, and he has never asked. So, as he was heading out the door, I literally ran outside after him and said, "Hey, your receipt!" Which I thought was unusual enough that he'd at least look at it. Turns out, no, he didn't look. I know his social media handle, and he would have absolutely posted something about a waitress chasing him down with a receipt for no reason. He didn't post about it. He didn't see it. He had walked off into the night without even glancing at it. I barely slept. I knew the next day was going to be the end of it, one way or another, even if it meant doing something insane. Saturday afternoon. He came in like nothing had happened, started telling me about how little sleep he'd had, his usual chatter. I knew right away he had not seen the note. Something in me snapped. I was done having confused feelings about this person. As I was walking away from his table, I stopped dead, turned around, and walked back over. I said, "You didn't see it, did you?" He said, "What?" I said, "The receipt, from last night. I never give you a receipt. Want to know why I did?" He said nothing, just looked at me. I said, "Because I think you're interesting," and I wrote my number on it. His face was the single most surprised look I have ever seen on a human being. And then I said something like, "Huh, this is so ironic, ha ha," and I walked away. Because I was clearly having a mini meltdown and I had no plan for what came after that line. I was flustered for the rest of my shift. My face was bright red. I didn't make eye contact with him for the rest of the night. He went head down into his books, and I went on doing my job around him like nothing had happened. But here is the part that genuinely surprised me. As awkward as the whole thing was, I couldn't stop smiling. I literally couldn't stop. Not because I thought it had gone well, because it hadn't, but because I felt proud, genuinely amazed at myself for having done something so straightforward for once. I had done a thing, a clear, said-it-out-loud thing. No more wondering, no more self-doubt, no more shyness. I put myself out there, and it felt incredible to come clean about it. He even posted about it later that day. Something along the lines of, "Gets hit on for a long time without realizing it. Gets a receipt with a number. Doesn't notice. Finally has to be told bluntly. Smooth." Then he went on to post about completely unrelated things, so no, he isn't interested, and I genuinely don't care. Turns out the whole thing was less about him and more about proving to myself that I could. I was a little put off that his main reaction was, "Let's go post about this online," but whatever. If he comes in tomorrow, I plan on being the same old me. Maybe he gives me some kind of response. Maybe he doesn't. Either way, I'm okay laughing it off. 10 out of 10. Would be a badass again. The verdict. The point of this story isn't that the regular wasn't into her, it's that she walked over to his table and said the awkward thing out loud and discovered something most people never figure out. The asking is the win. His face is forgettable. Hers, in that moment, isn't. She handed in her crush, asked her question, and got back a version of herself she actually liked. That's the only outcome that was ever really in her control. Comments are open on this one. Was she right to put it out there once and let it go cleanly, or should she have given the awkward regular more room to come around on his own time? Drop your verdict below. Thanks for listening. Subscribe for a new story every day.